On Thursday, a little freezing mist possible with highs in the low 30s. And Friday, we'll see a few more peaks of sunshine with highs in the mid-30s. Better chance for sun and warmer temperatures over the weekend. From the WDAY Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
This is a shout out to all hardworking farmers and ranchers. If you're looking for the cream of the crop in post-frame construction, look no further than Thor Buildings. Because let's face it, having the right size building for your equipment or livestock is crucial for your success. At Thor Buildings, they'll design your building for max efficiency, customized to tackle the seasonal weather in your neck of the woods. Post-frame construction tailored to your livestock and ag needs. Buildings built better, stronger, and built to last. So when it's time to put the hammer down, build with Thor. Visit thorbuildings.com today.
Issues that affect us all right here in the FM Metro. This is Talk of the Town with Jon Adams on WDAY Radio.
Here we go. We're off and running. Hey, this is Jon Adams with Talk of the Town. Welcome to today's program. We're going to jump right in. Who can complain about our balmy winter weather? You know, I got up today and I'm looking around. I look outside. As you guys know, I wash windows for a living, so I always got to check the weather. And the best way to check is look out the front door, and I see slick, moist roads, and I just smiled because I know that it's not going to be too brittle out there. It's the temperature currently is 31. Who would have guessed? Remember last winter when we had 5-foot, 6-foot high snow drifts, and it seemed like the wind was always blowing, and it was just miserable. And so I'm wondering, is this for real? Is this for real, or is it just like a climate shift where February and March are going to be cold and blustery, and May is going to have snow? I don't know, but whatever it is, I like it. You know, I like the fact that, the moisture isn't freezing on my face and all that. So I wanted to start off the show by wishing my older sister a happy recovery. She had 3 valves worked on this past week. And so that was it was a pretty stressful time for the Adams household, as well as my sister and my relatives. And, I talk about being spiritual on this show, and I can tell you that I never prayed harder than I did the last couple weeks from the time that we knew that she was going to have these valve replacements. And, as you're sitting and you're waiting, tons of things go through your mind, and, you think about your childhood, and you think about all the things that, you've been through as siblings. And the interesting thing is when we were in the waiting room, it wasn't just me and my brothers and my sisters. There were cousins, there were nephews and nieces, and frankly, we took over a good quarter of a pretty good-sized waiting room, and it just made me think about how important family is, how important it is to have those connections, because let's face it, when life is going well, we don't need anybody. Life is going along, your kids are healthy, the job is great, everything is easy, but times like these, the outpouring of love, for those people who knew about it, I'm not a big put it on Facebook guy when it comes to personal crises, because I think that's of a personal nature, and my close friends knew, and if you didn't know, it's not your fault. It's just I don't think that's the place for it. We have a private family page where everybody can respond, but it was kind of a personal thing that you go through. And one of the things that happens is a lot of people in their concern, it can be overbearing for you. It can be overbearing in a way that brings more stress than just dealing with it by yourself. So with that, I want to thank everyone for all the love and support. I want to thank the Lord for, putting his hand on the surgeon. By the way, I have to tell you, everything they say about surgeons is true, because my sister's surgeon, when he came out of the operating room and he came to give us the update, he was very confident in the work that he had done, and he assured us that she's going to make a full recovery. And just the demeanor of this guy, I mean, he owned the room. He obviously owned the operating room, and he was sure to let us know. So, there are a lot of things in life that we take for granted, we don't really stop and think about what it means. But I can tell you, I looked this guy up and down. He's probably about 6 feet tall, but he looked about 8 feet tall, and I looked at his hands, and it's like, those are the hands that had my sister's heart, and he replaced these valves and he did all this work. And I like to think that, nothing's done without divine intervention. So all of those things in tow, it's been a very interesting couple weeks, and especially the past 4 days. But along those lines, I wanted to say that, we all need support. And if you're struggling with something, don't be afraid to reach out to friends and family. That's what we're here for. And I want to thank everybody, even Jacob, he texts me from time to time and asks me by the way, Jacob is my show producer. How's my sister doing? Any wanted updates? And that really means a lot. You never know what nice thing is going to make somebody's day. You never know what comment might spur those people to get back on the horse, so to speak, or to move in a positive direction, But all I know is that the shout-outs, the prayers, all of those things really helped us through what it continues to be a difficult time because, of course, she's in recovery. But it was certainly made easier by all the friends and family and the prayers that we received. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you all for your support. I love you all. And now let's get on with the show. So I got back, and I can tell you that you don't realize the stress that you're under in these situations. And I slept for 12 hours when I got home, and I've been known to sleep, but it was just dead sleep. My wife got up and went to work, and I didn't even notice. That's really sleeping heavily, and I think it's the stress, the stress leaving my body, whatever it was. But then I jumped back on the horse, and one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to start paying attention. I've been talking about the climate of politics in the world, politics in the city, the accountability that I think we should demand as citizens. And so I decided to get on the city commission website and listen to the city commission meeting. Also, I was on driving back from Minneapolis, so it killed a good hour and a half. But there were a few things that struck me as I watched the commission meeting play out. And the first is, there's a lot of stuff happening in our city every commission meeting. And there's a lot of things that go on that if you're not paying attention, you're going to go, how did that happen? I would implore people, it's on the website. Excuse me, holy cow. It's on the website, okay? They have notes, they have minutes, they have the whole 9 yards. We really need to pay attention to what's happening and what's going on. And along those lines there was a young man, and I hope he doesn't mind me calling him a young man, but he spoke on I believe he called it DIP, the Discrimination in Policing Act. Now, that's an acronym that he made up, but it has to deal with how police deal with minorities and immigrants and policing in general, okay? And he spoke for a good 20 minutes, and he went over the history, and I didn't know this about him, but he spent the past 3 years at every city council meeting fighting for police accountability. And that's a lot to unpack. So I'm going to go slow because I want people to understand what's happening here, is that after George Floyd, okay, city leaders committed to doing certain things. Police committed to doing certain things over the course of the next 3 years, okay? It's 3 years later, and from what I surmise, based on what I heard, there are things that are done, but it's not tangible enough for the people that it's supposed to help. So that's significant. So imagine you're talking to your commissioners for 3 years about property taxes and specials, and they tell you about the programs that they have in place or the processes by which things are going to get done. And after 3 years, you haven't seen any real movement one way or the other. My question is, how would you feel about that? And remember, as citizens, we only pay attention to what's germane to our life, to what we have going on, okay? So when that happens, we have to say to ourselves, why aren't we getting the results? And again, I think it goes back to accountability. I think it goes back to what is our expectations of our civic leaders. And so as I listened to Wes speak, I was struck by the fact that the answers were vague at best by the people that were responding. You know, the answers were at times terse, combative. But there really weren't genuine answers where I could say, oh, okay, all right, that makes sense. Now, I understand that when you come to an organization, and this is my thing, if you come with a problem, come with solutions. I don't think it's enough to go down to City Hall and to yell and complain and stamp your feet. Come with solutions. And the young man had those solutions. There was a specific ask 3 years ago. There were specific things that we wanted as a community 3 years ago. And it seems to me that those expectations aren't being met. And so then the question becomes, where do we go from here? Last week I talked about where are all the great leaders in the community? Do we have any great leaders that are making moves that are there for the people? And this young man, his name is Wes Filame, okay? I count him as one of the young leaders in this community. And as far as I can tell, the only dog in the fight is that he wants what's right for all people. He mentioned a number of different people when he was wrapping up his speech, so it wasn't just about us. It was about everybody. And when I talk about people that move the needle, I think this gentleman does it. And digging a little further, I found out that this man has endured death threats in this community. And I'm baffled by it myself. So here's a man that's saying, hey, we need change in a positive direction, and he receives death threats. So my question is, we talk about North Dakota nice, where does that fit in? Where does that fit in when we see somebody, and I'm not going to call him a freedom fighter, I'm not going to call him an activist, I'm just going to call him a citizen that wants better for his community, and that's how we respond. So I'm interested to hear you guys' viewpoints on this. I hope I laid it out. I like to think of myself as the guy that just brings the news. I'm the messenger. And as you notice, I try to stay fairly close to central depending on the issue until I decide one way or the other. But if someone who's willing to put himself out there for me, I've met this gentleman once, but I don't know him. But he's fighting for the rights of people in this community. And the best that we could do for him, there were times when people were dismissive of what he had to say. There were times when I thought maybe he rehashed some stuff, but his passion for getting justice and doing the right things, highly evident. So Jacob says we're up against a break. When we come back, we're going to continue on. Also, we're going to have a discussion about the city government as it currently stands. This came up at the city council meeting that there was a survey done as to whether we should change our system of our city government. So on the other end of the break, we're going to talk more about accountability. We're going to talk about city leaders, and we're going to get into the conversation about what is the right type of government for the city of Fargo. If you want to call in, the phone number is 701-293-9000.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
National FFA Week is February 17th through the 24th, a week set aside for FFA students across the country to share how FFA impacts members every day. I'm National FFA Secretary Grant Norfleet from Missouri. What better way to show your support of FFA than to get involved in FFA Week? Whether it's in person, on the phone, or via social media, be sure to share your FFA stories during hashtag FFA Week, February 17th through the 24th.
As the new year settles in, we switch gears for the cold days ahead. And in the center of it all, ready for all kinds of weather, is an all-wheel drive Subaru. Check out the new in-stock Subaru models today. Or claim one of Muscatel's Subaru's incoming models, and you can enjoy Subaru safety that much sooner. Muscatel Subaru, just off the interstate in Moorhead, or online at muscatelsubaru.com. Subaru, built to last.
Encounter Jesus, experience grace at Olivet Lutheran Church. We offer multiple styles of worship services. Our Sunday morning 8:30 worship is filled with traditional hymns led by the organ. If contemporary music is more your style, the Sunday morning 10:30 service will be what you're looking for. And our Wednesday 6 p.m. service is quiet, contemplative, and acoustic. Worship with us online on our YouTube channel. To find out more, visit olivet.org. Encounter Jesus, experience grace at Olivet Lutheran Church.
Legacy Children's Foundation invites our entire community to give their time, talents, and treasures this year. Hi, I'm Mary Sem, the Dean of Students at Legacy. Legacy Kids do service projects all year long. And as you see us blessing this community, we'd invite you to give a gift to support us. We have fun too. Can't wait for our upcoming pickleball tournament. Legacy Children's Foundation, where good times and doing good for others go hand in hand. Legacy Children's Foundation, proud participants in Giving Hearts Day 2024.
At Aspire Optical Company, we believe in nurturing healthy vision from the roots up. Imagine the excitement as the third graders at Legacy Elementary dive into the book, How Did That Get in My Lunchbox? A tasty tale about where their food comes from. Just like healthy habits fuel young minds, great eating habits create healthy vision. Speaking of a feast for the eyes, you can feast your eyes on a fresh selection of over 2,000 frames and sunglasses at Aspire Optical. Annual eye exams and a healthy diet make for a happy child. Aspire Optical Company, serving up eyewear like you've never seen, for a vision like you've never experienced.
This is Talk of the Town with Jon Adams on WDAY Radio.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town with Jon Adams. I'm going to continue on with, I suppose you could call it a diatribe, Jacob, but, these are the things that we should be talking about. We should be having meaningful discussion about our community at large.
Yeah, we should be.
And I think for us, if we quit talking about it, that's when stuff happens behind the scenes. Okay? When we get talking about the fact that, I'm sorry, but I feel like we're taxed almost out of existence. The government has plenty of money. Where does it all go? And we all make jokes about, $100 hammers in the military. We all know that people love to get government contracts. I'm in a business where, I get to see people who get these government bids to build schools and stuff like that. And I'm not saying anything negative about it, but you know what? It's pretty sweet when you get a job from the government. You get one of those contracts. And so it's like the government isn't run as tightly as we run our businesses. As tightly as we run our houses. So, I was talking to a gentleman, he was in the military, and he was telling me how he was a welder by trade, and he went into the military, and he was frustrated with the fact that he didn't get to do any welding. And so, what do you mean? You went in there with that, and evidently the military has this thing where either it's attached to something greater and it had to do with vehicles, or they just buy a new vehicle. That's pretty interesting to me that here we have people that are sitting in the military. We're paying them, you know. They're there to learn a skill or to use their skills. And instead of using their skills, they end up replacing the whole unit instead of welding it or fixing it. But I thought that was interesting. He was so disenfranchised that he left the military because he wasn't getting the training that he was supposed to get. And that's something that it struck me. Is this what we're doing? Is this what the government is doing with our money?
That's crazy.
You know, we don't even need to talk about. Y'all already know. My policy is we're done giving out foreign aid until people show that they are loyal to the United States in a way that we need them to be. That's my foreign policy, Jacob. That's just, if Jon Adams were president right now, guess what? I would instantly cut off all foreign aid, and then we would go back over the people that are really for us. You know? And it's funny because people say, well, that's quid pro quo. Yeah, you're right. You're right. If we're going to give you money, we expect something in return. What are we getting for our buck these days? I don't know, but we're not. I did take my medicine, by the way. That's why I'm a little more focused, and I know that I need to get back to the topic at hand. So anyway, I'm watching the city commission meeting, and I was just struck by here was the very thing, West Philomé, the embodiment of what I was talking about last week. Where are the people that are willing to step outside themselves and champion the people's causes? And here we have a young man in our community, and he's being treated like trash. I think we're better than that. And for those people that feel like he's a bother, those people that feel like, he's just a loose cannon, I've heard him called any number of different things, none of which is a man of the people. Okay? This is a guy that's out here doing it for us, not by himself, because he has a strong following. And I know a few of those people, and it's funny because you know what? They don't talk in terms of what's best for them. They are strong advocates for our children in the community. But if you can't get past what you don't like about this gentleman, you don't know all that. So you only see one side of it, and usually it's negativity involved. And I'm here to say personally, I am distraught by it. I've come on this show and I've said Fargo is a great place to live. I love Fargo. Everything that I have, Fargo has given me. I like our city leaders most of the time. I think they do a good job most of the time. I think our law enforcement is exceptional. I've said that over and over again because I did my internship at the U of M Police Department in Minneapolis. Okay, and that's back when they were exceptional. Okay? A lot of the things that I talk about, I have some life experience in, so it's not like I'm just on the radio just talking about it. I've lived it. So for me, that gives me a little more impetus to be an expert in the arena. Now, you guys hear me talk about my fourth grade education, but at the same time, I do know a little something. My wife would say very little something, but it is what it is. But the point is, we need to start listening to people that have our best interests. Now, the issue comes with, what do you do when it doesn't serve your best interests? That's where we get into trouble. So right now, we have this debate, right? It's Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. And I've said it many a time, I don't think either one of them serve my best interests. The handling of COVID money, the handling of the COVID situation, a complete debacle. Our inflation is a direct reflection of printing $39 trillion. That's just part of it. That's not the only thing, but that's a large part of it. Been a long time since I've actually seen somebody that I looked at in government and said, you know what? I think that guy is really for the people. And some people who disagree with me, that's fine. We're all entitled to our opinion. But as far as I'm concerned, when is the last time you have seen our government do something where you said they really do have our best interests in mind? Right now we have a border crisis. Okay? We have a border crisis. And the funny thing is, Texas is making sure that they keep their best interests in mind, aren't they? They say, hey, you know, we'll handle it ourselves. It's okay, federal government. We'll do what we do. If you understand the way our government works, there's states' rights. And that's why Texas is acting the way they're acting, because they say that they're acting in the best interest of their state. They're working for, according to the governor, we're working to secure our border for our citizens in our state. It's a very explosive situation, because you have a state versus the federal government and being defiant. So I've been watching with great interest, because it could set the tone. It could set the tone for a lot of things. And we as citizens, we need to pay attention to this. Now, I've heard it said that if North Dakota tried to pull that, we'd be just fine because we'd be self-sufficient. But remember, there's a lot of federal money that flows into each state. So while we're out here saying, Texas, hey, yeah, good for you. Well, we also have to remember that federal money props up a lot of states. What's happened is not there. But I digress because I can. So along the lines of that, and Jacob says we're up against the break, I guess my medicine isn't working too well, because I kind of went off script a little bit. But I wanted to get to the city commission. There was a survey that was prevented. There was a survey that was presented about governance. And right now, we are the largest city in the United States that uses the commission system. Now, there are a ton of different ways you can govern a city, okay? And there has been a survey that says that the citizenry would be in favor of going to a council system or a ward system for equal representation, and the city is split up by district or wards. When we come back, we're going to explore that, and let's have a little dialogue on it. This is Jon Adams and Talk of the Town. If you want to call in, the phone number is 701-293-9000.
And if I'm ever at the crossroads and start feeling mixed signals like Morse code, my soul start to grow colder than the North Pole. I try to focus on the whole of where the torch goes.
Oh, can you imagine a stress-free Sunday with family, friends, fun, and food? You can have it when you make Barron's your new Sunday brunch headquarters. Experience a brunch like nowhere else. Your kids will love the customizable waffle bar, fresh scrambled eggs, thick-cut bacon, and much more. Plus, while Mama sips on a mimosa, you can wear out the kids in the arcade at Kingpin's.
For a stress-free Sunday, mention My Brunch Headquarters and receive 20% off brunch at Barron's. Make your Sunday stress-free, filled with great food, no cleanup, and most importantly, where family, friends, fun, and food come together for brunch at Barron's. Go to brunchatbarons.com. Again, brunch at BARONS.com. And don't forget to mention My Brunch Headquarters for 20% off and experience your stress-free Sunday at brunchatbarons.com.
Brunch at Barron's, located inside Kingpin's off I-29 and 52nd Avenue South in Fargo.
Hello from the WDAY News Center. I'm Ty Schoenert with your news update. Congressman Kelly Armstrong entering the race for North Dakota governor.
I miss the people of North Dakota. It's been an honor and a privilege fighting in D.C., but I'm really, really excited to get back here and work with people who are interested in solutions.
The 47-year-old entering the U.S. House of Representatives as North Dakota's lone congressman since 2019. Prior to that, he served as a North Dakota state senator and chairman of the North Dakota Republican Party. Earlier this week, Grafton businessman Tom Campbell telling WDAY Radio he, too, will be running for governor. North Dakota's Democratic NPL reacting to the Dakota 2024 State of the State address. The comments coming from Senate and House Minority Leaders Kathy Hogan and Zach Ista, who say the Democrats have been beating the drum for several years when it comes to addressing issues that were talked about at the State of the State, including workforce, childcare, housing, and mental health. And Fargo School Board voting to not increase their compensation for this year. The reason summarized by board member Robin Nelson.
What's been brought forth to me is the optics of the whole thing. And we're talking about building conditions. We're talking about potentially building new schools. We're facing a mill levy. vote.
Nelson, part of 6 who voted against the raise, 2 others voting in favor. I'm Ty Schoenert with WDAY RadioNow.com. First with the news when you need to know.
Areas of fog and freezing mist for this afternoon. We'll have highs close to freezing with winds lightening up out of the south around 5 to 15. Expect more fog to overspread the area overnight tonight with light winds. We'll drop down to a low in the mid-20s and scattered fog on Thursday. A little freezing mist possible with highs in the low 30s. And Friday we'll see a few more peaks of sunshine with highs in the mid-30s. Better chance for sun and warmer temperatures over the weekend. From the WDAY Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
This is a shout out to all hardworking farmers and ranchers. If you're looking for the cream of the crop in post-frame construction, look no further than Thor Buildings. Because let's face it, having the right size building for your equipment or livestock is crucial for your success. At Thor Buildings, they'll design your building for max efficiency, customized to tackle the seasonal weather in your neck of the woods. Post-frame construction tailored to your livestock and ag needs. Buildings built better, stronger, and built to last. So when it's time to put the hammer down, build with Thor. Visit thorbuildings.com today.
At Holson Business Solutions, we understand the importance of a secure and efficient workplace. Safeguard your assets with our state-of-the-art security cameras and keyless door access systems. Our monitoring systems provide you with real-time control over your business environment. Holson Business Solutions is here to bring you up to date with advanced security and networking technologies. We make it easy and efficient. Call 218-78-SOLAR or visit holsonhome.com today for cutting-edge solutions tailored to your business needs.
This is Talk of the Town with Jon Adams on WDAY Radio.
Welcome to Ace Rodney Talks for the Superstars. Tonight, great guest, the incredible.
Nicely done, young man. Nicely done. That intro music is hitting on all levels right now. So before I turn my attention to the conversation of governance, I just wanted to wrap up this whole West Philomene leadership deal. So I've said it before that we need people out there. We need people to get involved. We need people that hold our government, our governor, our elected officials accountable. Now, having said that, I honestly believe that I can't say that and then downgrade the manner of which people do it. Okay? If we want justice, we can't complain if the ask for justice doesn't look like we think it should look. Nobody's perfect. I'm on this radio show once a week, and I prove that every time out. The point is, just like teachers, just like cops, just like elected officials, people who put themselves on the line selflessly with no agenda other than to move our community forward should be applauded. They should be celebrated. We don't have to agree with everything they say or the way they do it. But you know what? I'm not every city council meeting. Heck, I think I've seen 3 of them in my entire lifetime. But this gentleman and the people that support him, they have been at every city commission meeting for the past 3 years. To me, that's dedication. That's dedication, and that's belief in what you're doing. And the fact that this gentleman is butting his head up against the wall week after commission meeting after commission meeting, that speaks to his resolve. I don't know that I would have that type of resolve. I'd probably become frustrated and just say, the heck with it. I'm just going to do what I can do on my radio show, and that's it. How many of us have that dedication to the community? But this is what it takes, people. This is what it takes if we're going to maintain what I consider a great city to live in, what I consider a great community. I used to say community is like a family, but then, some of us don't treat our family very well, so we can't put it in that vein. But I just want to say, when you hear Wes's name, take time to listen to the message. You don't necessarily have to agree with it. take time to understand what this young man is asking for. And I would say to the city commission, look, it's very simple. You could do all the surveys and all the studies that you want to do, but if there's no follow-up in a meaningful way, what is it for? Last year we had the DEI argument. Now it would appear the DEI is a kumbaya situation because it hasn't come up in I don't know how many months, and I don't know why, but maybe there was a peace agreement behind the scenes that I don't know about. But it certainly seems like the people that weren't in favor of DEI have let that dog alone. That doesn't mean that the work of DEI doesn't still need to be done. As someone who would benefit from it in some way, my kids might benefit, some other people might benefit. What's the harm in it? That's the big question. What's the harm in it? As long as it's done the right way. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If we're just going to pay lip service to a lot of the things that we're doing in government, then I would rather have you not do it. If you're not committed to making Fargo a better place, I'd rather have you say, you know what, I don't agree with it, I'm not going to do it. I can respect, and some of the people on the commission that have said I don't support DEI, well, thank you. Just give me a logical, thought-out reason why you don't think so. I can live with that. I'm okay with that. I'll disagree with it, but I'm okay with that. That's dialogue. That's what it needs to be. At the same time, these are the same people that next year are going to be knocking on my door in my neighborhood and asking for my vote. They're going to be going to your neighborhood. They're going to talk about this. It's funny in an election year. You remember last year at this time when gas was $4.50? And we were all like, dang, Joe Biden, what's going on, Joe? Right? And now gas is what I think I paid $2.90 in Minneapolis, $3.50. I have to use the good gas because, I don't want that truck to break down because I got Jon Adams money. But the point I'm making is, let's just watch and see how economically things get better over this next year. I want you to go back and look at the past 3 years and look at the way our politicians have acted. Locally and on the federal level, see how they have acted over the past 3 years and look at what's happened now. Going to be a lot of clapping each other on the back. Well, we did this, we did that. But I remember not so long ago, I was upset about the price of food and the price of gas. And I can afford both. Imagine people that are barely scraping by that could barely afford either. That's how you make change. You just don't look at what's happened in the past year. And it's a subtle manipulation that happens every election year. Like I said last week, what's her name? I can't remember her name, but Miss Ann Coulter. She has never been about supporting the black cause in any form or fashion, but lately she has been all on top of it because she feels like just transgender people should not be riding the struggles of black people. That came out of her mouth, by the way. I'm quoting her. It's not something that I made up. Look it up, and if I'm lying, I'll give somebody $100 that could prove me wrong. The point I'm making is we can't continue to not pay attention. I always feel like it's what people do that counts. Okay, you can tell me anything. If you tell me you're my friend and you find out that my sister's in the hospital, but you couldn't even say, hey, I'm praying for her. You're not on my friends list. You're not even on my radar, and that's okay. I feel like we don't have any true friends in this world anyway. At best, we might have 4 or 5. The rest of the people know you for whatever reason. And if you look hard enough, all you have to do, and this is a funny thing, and I tell my kids this, if you want to know who your friends are, just have a crisis. Just need something that they have. And it ain't even got to be a big ask. The amount of stuttering will tell you exactly how big a friend you have. And when it happens to me, I'm like, okay, all right. But see, I'm not foolish enough to think that everybody that cheers me on is my friend. I'm not foolish enough to think the people that smile and say, hey, good job, buddy, that they're all in my corner. Okay, and this past week has taught me more than anything else. Pay attention. With this upcoming election, pay attention. Now, I think it's sad that our only two choices for president are both old and senile. I'm going to say it right now. If you if you have to have somebody help you here and there, you shouldn't be running our country. Okay? If people have to tell you what to say because your cognitive resources aren't all there, probably shouldn't be running our country. We certainly wouldn't want them to run the business that we work for. So with that, let's talk about this city commission thing. So the survey said that 49% of people would be in favor of looking at an alternative form of governance for the city of Fargo. And so one of the things that was pointed out by a commissioner was that we already have a great representation. You know, commissioners represent the entire city. And I would say if that were the case, wouldn't the number be way lower than 49%? Somewhere out there, some people are not happy with the way that our city government functions. And I'm not going to say it's because of the commissioners. It may very well be the system. But I can tell you this, I can give you instances where I'm shaking my head at the way things play out. You know? Sometimes the way the city gets zoned. Sometimes where the resources, they say that each school in this city is funded equally. So if you go to South High and you look at what's happening, or you go to North High and you look at it, and then you go to Davies and some of these newer schools, there is a disparity. And I know because I've worked in two of them. There is a disparity. So the question becomes, where does the ball get dropped? So along the lines of the city commission thing, it comes to, if we went to a ward or a council system, that means that the city would be divided up where each area would have their own representative. Instead of 5 people representing the whole city, there would be districts or wards, and some would be elected from every part of the city, which would be a huge change. And then the second part, I don't know if you guys understand this, but under the commission system, the mayor is a commissioner. Okay? He's part of the commission. All right? It's a little different. The mayor is not the end-all, the be-all in our system of government. Okay? So that's a distinct difference. And then you can talk about, do you want to be more mayor-heavy or mayor-light within whatever system? How much power does the mayor have within that system? So it's a really complicated issue, but the fact that 49% of people have something to say about it, it bears looking into. So Jacob says we're on the other end of the break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up talking about the city commission, talking about city governance. We'll see you on the other end of the break. If you want to call in, phone number is 701-293-9000.
Encounter Jesus, experience grace at Olivet Lutheran Church. We offer multiple styles of worship services. Our Sunday morning 8:30 worship is filled with traditional hymns led by the organ. If contemporary music is more your style, the Sunday morning 10:30 service will be what you're looking for. And our Wednesday 6 p.m. service is quiet, contemplative, and acoustic. Worship with us online on our YouTube channel. To find out more, visit olivet.org. Encounter Jesus, experience grace at Olivet Lutheran Church.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You've heard the buzz about IT jobs in cybersecurity and AI, right? Why not prepare for a career in these fields and take advantage of the high demand? You could enjoy a more rewarding and recession-resistant lifestyle. Train in just a few short months at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Already in IT? Skill up for positions employers need to fill. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
This is Talk of the Town with Jon Adams on WDAY Radio.
Hit the red light, Jacob. Let's go. I got a lot to say and a short time to say it. So this is the final part of the show where I kind of put a nice little bow on it. But I don't think there's a nice bow today. And in some ways, I think I'm a little heated because of the way I saw the things play out at the city commission meeting. You know? I mean, let's remember, elected officials are here to serve the needs of their constituency, of the population. I don't know that I saw that at this last meeting. And I was really put off by the fact that there's so many things. Well, we've done this, we've done that, but then there's nothing finite to what's being done, tangible. So, this is the best example I can use. So last year, the city council, the city commission, they wanted to know what exactly DEI has done. Okay, what did Dr. Hogan do in the past 2 years? And there were people that said they were underwhelmed. Okay? So when it comes to West Philomay, I'm going to say, City Commission, I was underwhelmed by your response. You've had 3 years to address some of these issues, and they're pretty serious. If I were in the situations that the young man brought up, I'd be pretty upset too. The point is, we have to start leaning to a results-driven government, okay? Don't talk about it, let's be about it, okay? I mean, the big thing is, for me, is if I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again, at what point do I just say, you know what, it's not going to happen? And I think that's the sort of apathy that we have today in the United States. People think the government is so big, well, I can't make any change. When the fact is, we can. We have to. We have to. And I've said it before. For me, it ain't going to matter for me. I got what, maybe 20, 30 more years on this planet? Okay? But for my kids, it's everything. It's everything that we behave in a manner that moves us forward right now. And if you're sitting around waiting for your government officials to do it, it's not going to happen that way. We have to be involved, okay? For my part, I'm like, you know what? You're sitting on the radio and you're telling these people you need to do this, you need to do that. And I say, you know, I need to start putting my money where my mouth is. And so part of that is starting to watch these city commission meetings. They're on the computer. You can sit in the privacy of your own home when you're not TikToking and Facebooking. I would encourage people to start looking at this because it does affect you. We have some stuff coming up here. They want to build more schools. Where's that money coming from? They have a 10-year economic development plan. They rolled it out I want to say last fall they talked about it a little bit. What stage are we in that? What does that mean? Does that mean that I'm going to pay more taxes to fund all this development? I need to know, so guess what? I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to pay attention because it's going to affect me at some point. We all have to pay attention, okay? But if we do it as individuals, our government can do exactly what they've been doing, okay? They can continue on. I don't care what anybody says. We pay too much in taxes in this state. And I'm going to have a show on the legacy fund because I believe that we could offset, even if it's just for a little bit, if we took part of the legacy fund and put it back into the people's hands instead of having it geared toward economic development, I think we could be on to something. You know? We talk about the homeless situation, a lot of different things that happen. Jacob says we are done. We're out of time. I'm going to continue on this track next week, folks, because I think it's important to talk about. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry that we couldn't talk more about the city commission and governance. We'll continue along these lines because I think it's important. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Jon Adams with Talk of the Town. You guys have a wonderful week, and as always, stay black.